This episode is brought to you by Starry. When you drink Starry Lemon Lime Soda, every sip is a win. Perfect for game time or anytime. It's a crisp, refreshing lemon lime soda that's caffeine-free and bursting with flavor that makes you go, ah. Starry hits different. Find it in stores or online today.
Sergeant and Mr. Smith, you're gonna love this house.
Bunk beds in a closet?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
Today, we discuss Miro. Today, I want to talk about the hellscape that is technical diagramming, right? Everybody's nodding their heads right now, And there is a potential solution that I want to share. There was one name that several people brought up. I did some digging, and it's kind of nuts how much this program Miro has for developers. I have to share this. It could potentially be a game changer for you. So my favorite part about Miro is that half the work is already done. Like right now, typically we spend hours starting diagrams from scratch, gathering information. You get buy-in from every team. That's a lot of work to do. But Miro has a full set of integrations with the tools you're probably already using. And they also offer open APIs and SDKs for custom solutions for all those niche diagramming use cases we have to do, right? So the end result is the same, but it doesn't take forever. It's a massive, massive time saver. I'm transforming basic flowcharts and network architectures, and it all lives in one place. So are you using Miro? Have you used it? I want to hear. That's MIRO.com.
No breaks. No breaks. No fear. No fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Overall, there was only 2 points in it, but the Belle Vue Aces defeated the Sheffield Tigers to become 2022 Premiership champions.
Now there's big smiles, now they can relax, the tension's gone.
Mark Lemon's a different-looking character.
And the Belle Vue Aces have won the championship for the first time in 29 years.
And we have the actual Premiership trophy on the show. It's alongside Mark Lemon, CEO and team manager of the Belle Vue Aces, Belle Vue captain Brady Kurtz, and rising star and a rider who was involved in that heat where the deal was sealed and the Aces became champions, Tom Brennan, with us on the episode this week to look back on that fantastic evening in Sheffield on Thursday night. So not to be for Sheffield in the league, but the League Cup could be a step closer. They've got a big lead heading into the second leg of their clash against the Kings Lynn Stars at Oleton on Thursday. And we'll have a look back at the Olympique at Wolverhampton as well. All this and more to come on this week's episode of No Breaks, No Fear.
No breaks, no fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Welcome along. Certainly one for the Aces fans this week, and apologies in advance to the fans of any other team because it is very much Belle Vue heavy as they ended a 29-year wait for a top flight title as they were crowned Premiership champions with a gripping grand final victory over Sheffield. The Aces were beaten 50-40 at Oleton on Thursday but successfully defended their 12-point advantage gained in Manchester, sealing the crown with a 3-3 in the penultimate race when Tom Brennan and Norwich Bladorn kept Tigers skipper Kyle Howarth at the back.
Heat number 14 is with us. The lights on, tapes are up and we're underway. They go roaring into the first corner. And Sedgman's gone wide, he's left the door wide open and both the Belle Vue boys come charging through. Howarth is at the back. This is looking fabulous for the Belle Vue Aces. They're on a 5-1. Certainly Tom Brennan out in front, Bladorn there in second place. Here comes Sedgman now. Round the outside, can he respond now? Brilliant effort from Sedgman, he's down the back straight.
Yeah, this is a great ride from Justin Sedgman, putting every single thing he's got into it. The outside not working quite so effectively on turns 3 and 4, but he's there now. But it's down to Kyle Howarth. He's got to find a way past.
He has indeed. Sedgman's ridden out of his skin to get to the front, but it's still not enough. Not with the Belle Vue pair packing in for second and third. They understand the position. One massive lap in the grand final to go in heat number 14. Sedgman out in front with the Belle Vue Aces with a 6-point advantage coming into heat 14. It's looking like it's going to be their championship. Sedgman's out in front, but the Belle Vue Aces are there. What a night at Speedway. What a championship. and many congratulations to the Belle Vue Aces. The 2022 Premiership is theirs.
Yeah, they've weathered the mid-meeting storm. They've weathered taken all the pressure. We can see what it means to those youngsters. And, well, that's the engine room. They've done the job.
Fantastic speedway tonight. Sheer joy for the Aces. They've been so close in previous seasons. They've managed to get to 4 finals in the last 7 years, but they've come up short. But tonight, it belongs to them. They had the 12-point lead coming into the night, and it got awfully close with the Sheffield Tigers coming back at them really hard. But in the end, Heat 11 and the 5-1 there with the exclusion to Michalak certainly was crucial in the outcome of this. Now there's big smiles, now they can relax, the tension's gone.
Mark Lemon's a different-looking character.
And the Belle Vue Aces have won the championship for the first time in 29 years.
Finally then, it's happened for the Belle Vue Aces. 29-year wait. And finally, they are league champions. So on the podcast this week, bit of a Belle Vue fest. And apologies in advance to supporters of any other side, because it is fairly Belle Vue heavy. We've got the Belle Vue captain, Brady Kurtz. We've got Tom Brennan with us. And we've also got CEO and team manager of the Belle Vue Aces, Mark Lemon. And Mark, last time you were on, you were sat next to some silverware because you were sat next to the Speedway of Nations trophy. This time, as we connect up with you, you're sat next to the British Speedway Premiership trophy. Must be nice to have that baby sat next to you right now, though.
Yeah, sure. And can we book you in about this time next year as well? And then maybe there's
every time I connect, there's a trophy. So I'll take it.
No, we're absolutely delighted in Manchester to finally, after 29 years of hurt and disappointment and wait, it's over. There's been a lot that's gone into, not just to getting to this point, but obviously we've got a fantastic new stadium that was built in 2016 with the help of the City Council and all the guys and the stadium operators. It's just been a real journey, and to be quite honest, I just didn't think this was ever going to come. We had we're in the 4th final in the last sort of 6 years, or 7 years if you want to count COVID, but to finally win it, it feels quite surreal, to be honest.
The last time we spoke, you were hopeful. You fancied your chances, and there was no reason to doubt otherwise. But it was always that question of, can they do it now? Is this wait for a title finally going to end? Because I know that you sort of felt that it was never going to end at one point, but now it has ended. You are champions. You now start from a completely different position for next year, don't you? You go into the next year as league champions, and all those question marks of, can Belle Vue win a title now? They're all put to bed.
Yeah, as the saying goes, the monkey's off the back now. We've lifted that crown, and to think, it could have been done maybe in 2015. We lost by a point to Poole, but I guess my first year as a manager, people can say it was naive or whatever it was, and we only fluked it. But I think the consistency that we've been there year in year out proved dividends that were worthy of probably a success, but we didn't reach it. And I think probably we lost against Wolverhampton, and they richly deserve that one because it was a bit of a whooping down at their place, and it was just too much to claw back. But last year really hurt. I think losing Brady Kurtz on the eve of the finals was just the catalyst that sort of was amongst the pigeons that didn't allow us to achieve that success. So to this year to get so close and then lose Max Frick on the eve of the playoffs, we did everything possible to make sure that we go to full strength into this year's playoffs, which we did.
And to this guy that's also on our call here now with Tom Brennan, and just tell us about Tom first of all, because we've seen him rise through the ranks of Speedway, but for the first rising star to make it into the main body of a team and hold his own, and not just at number 2 in that grand final, of course, at Sheffield, at number 4, a slightly different position with things having to be juggled around a little bit. And really now, I think you can say you graduated from rising star, haven't you, Tom? But we'll see what Mark thinks.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, I mean, it's classic. Like, Tom's one of the first riders to actually become the 5-star pro status, guys to come through the system. And it's ironic because Tom sort of came into 2019 Obviously after a massive injury with his femur, broken femur, which is pretty devastating for many speedway riders to endure at any particular time of their career, let alone at the early stage. And Tom, he was actually the last chosen Rising Star rider. All the teams were full up. Belle Vue had the second last choice, and Wolverhampton chose Tom Bacon. Knowing that we were left with the last, through to the pecking order of what we finished the year before. So that's why we were turned out to be the last choice. And Tom obviously was on the radar, and we're delighted to bring Tom into the team, but he was very raw and naive. And I said, coming off a massive injury, probably hadn't shown the sort of the form that he should have kept on progressing with, and it was a setback in his career. And the commitment, the resolve that this young man has shown through the course of just not particularly then in the recent times of losing his mum, and to carry on and show like such a inner power of strength and ability to go out there and compete at the highest level. And the pressure probably on in the playoff and the grand final, go out and hit 14 to win it, knowing the fact he's being in 2 grand finals, losing in that losing race. I don't know how he managed it, but he's certainly got some pretty stealthy and sort of high credentials and worthy contributes that he brings to the game.
And Tom, to you, and that leads us perfectly on, actually, really, because last time we spoke, which was only a few weeks ago, really, wasn't it, that you were saying how, you hadn't really forgotten what it was like to lose last year. You were in that race, and as Lemo said, you were in the previous couple of races, actually, where it was all decided, and you've seen the opposition celebrating, and you're not part of that. That it's almost like that you're not there. Nobody's interested in you. They're only interested in the winners, and you were determined for that not to happen again. So kind of poetic, really, that you should find yourself in the heat, and you should be one of the riders, along with Norric, to actually seal the deal, seal that moment, and set off the celebrations this time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously last year was obviously devastating for us. I mean, we obviously worked really, really hard to kind of get into the final, and then obviously we managed, and then Brady obviously got injured, which was obviously a massive hurt to us. So we obviously went into the final kind of obviously the best we could, obviously with the circumstances we had, and we obviously fought all the way. But as soon as we crossed the line, obviously heat at number 14, and obviously realised that obviously Peterborough won. I mean, I'd obviously never really felt that before. I mean, I had the same situation with the Glasgow last year. I mean, obviously crossing the line 3rd place, and obviously that was the league done. So obviously finally for a Belle Vue to obviously come away with a win now, and same as what Lemo said. I mean, it was obviously such a almost like a relief. I mean, as soon as we sort of seen all the fans, all of the supporters, all of the management sort of rush out, we obviously knew that it had come true. So obviously for me, it was obviously a fantastic feeling. Obviously me and Norric being able to sort of like obviously do it in our race was even better. I mean, we obviously sort of started at a reserve together, so we obviously get on pretty well off the track. So no, it was good. It was one of those moments I definitely never obviously forget.
And watching the footage, you can see that after you've finished the race, maybe you're checking with Norric. Is that it? Have we actually done it? Because there seemed to be this moment before you really started celebrating of just checking that to confirm it in your mind that was actually it.
Yeah. So it was one of those things. I mean, we obviously had like an idea, obviously, before the heat, obviously what we had to do, but it wasn't sort of said directly, to try and keep the pressure off us. I mean, obviously Lemo does a good job at that. He didn't like come up to us and say, you have to do this. He said, but just be sensible and obviously trying to just stay like a 3-3. And for us, that's all we had to do. And as soon as I crossed the line, I sort of had this feeling that we'd done it, but it was sort of, until I sort of seen everyone sort of run out, and obviously it sort of all sort of planted that for me. So no, it was obviously funny because Norric's such a great character as well, and we obviously were both sort of confused. And then as soon as we seen everyone run out, he obviously just exploded, and obviously so did I. So it was definitely a very special moment. So.
And obviously coming round that back straight after you've won the race, and you could see where the Belle Vue fans were on that 3rd and 4th turn. You could obviously see the celebrations going on there, and probably that confirmed it in your mind.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, obviously, Belle Vue supporters, I mean, I actually don't know what it is, but as soon as they kind of get into the playoffs, it seems a whole nother level. And I've never sort of been a part of a meeting like that at Sheffield before. It felt very intense, but it also felt very I'm not sure how to put it, but it was definitely an AM experience. Obviously, those guys know how to celebrate, and it was obviously such a fantastic feeling to kind of see all the smile, to see all the hurt that they've obviously gone through the last 29 years or obviously whatever it is. Was something that's crazy because for me, obviously, I can understand somewhat, but obviously, I wasn't even born obviously with the last time in the league, so it was one of those things that, as soon as I seen the emotion, I seen obviously all of the kind of happiness come out. It was definitely very special, and I think same as what Lemo said. I mean, these guys have been working really, really hard all year, obviously behind the scenes as well as us riders, and for us to finally do it, for us to kind of put all that behind us, and obviously celebrate the way we did, and obviously we definitely celebrated, which was absolutely fantastic. So, I mean, we'll have to see what the end of season 2 brings, but we maybe behind a little bit.
Well, I was going to say, was there a party afterwards? So, what happened after the stadium?
Well, I mean, I don't know how Lemo's wallet felt after it, but it was one of those things. It was awesome. I mean, we obviously all went up to the bar afterwards and did all that sort of stuff. We have celebrated obviously as much as we could, and obviously not too sure if the Sheffield kind of fans sort of appreciate that as much as what we did, but it was one of those things. It was we had every right to, and it was really, really good. So I know for us, it's now obviously looking on to, I believe it's 2 or 3 weeks time to end the season 2, and we can. I'm sure Matty and Jai and Brady and everyone will be kind of going a bit crazy there. So it'll be funny.
Yeah, well, you can let your hair down at those kind of events, can't you? And knowing that all your riding is probably done by then, but you still got 1 or 2 little missions still to go. Looking at that final fixture, though, it wasn't without its drama. You were involved in some of the key talking points, certainly some of the points that Simon Stead's talking about, and maybe Heat 3 being the one where you had that coming together with Adam Ellis. Adam Ellis was excluded. Obviously, Simon Stead not particularly happy about that with regards to the referee, and maybe thinking that it maybe should have either been all 4 back, or maybe you should have been the one being kicked out of that race. How did you see it?
So first of all, I am not going to comment on any referee and anything like that, because I know there's sort of becomes.
I'm not suggesting you should.
But no, for me it's the only thing I will say about the 2 meetings. The referee was very, very consistent with obviously their calls. I mean, there was 2 or 3 instances that like were home in a way, and obviously she was very, very consistent with that. So for me, there's always going to be results that obviously people wish they changed, and obviously for the better in any sport. So for us, it's the meeting's done now. We obviously did the best we could. There's obviously some decisions that are questionable, but it's done now, and Belle Vue are the deserved champions, and we can obviously come back next year, and hopefully we can go and do it again. But obviously for me to kind of sit here and obviously try and dissect all of the calls, we can be going around in circles. So there's obviously going to be guys that are going to be in for it or out of it, but no, for me it was very consistent, and I think as a rider and obviously part of a team, that's all you really ask for.
You are now a Premiership League champion. That can never be taken away from you. And as Lemo touched on, it has been a big year for you both personally and professionally, and not all good, of course. And I think for everything you've achieved, despite everything you've been going through off the track, is a huge testament to you. But on the track, you've come close to success with Glasgow. That one didn't quite work out, but now you have finally got some silverware, league title silverware at the Belle Vue Aces, and that's got to be a good feeling now taking that forward.
Yeah, massive, obviously, achievement. I mean, obviously for me, same as what Lemo said. I mean, I obviously come into the 2021 season a little bit of an unknown. I hadn't really proven myself at all. So I was sort of taken as it was, and Lemo and obviously everyone behind the scenes at Belle Vue definitely put a lot of trust in me. And for me, it was obviously really nice to see, because I obviously struggled a little bit to start with. I kind of had like flashes of good, but I also had flashes of absolute dreadful, So it was kind of a little bit in between. And for me, I'm obviously really, really grateful to have that opportunity with Belle Vue, and obviously progress and obviously learn the way I have. And for me to finally get the title with them feels really special, because obviously without having that obviously amazing track every single weekend to go race on, I am definitely going to be where I am now. So for me, it was a massive accomplishment. So yeah, to obviously sit here and obviously say that we're now league champions, and obviously I was a part of that team that obviously finally did it. Feels absolutely amazing. And yeah, obviously Glasgow's the same sort of thing. I mean, Glasgow also have obviously treated me really well, and there's obviously a very good setup there, and there's a lot of hard work in. Unfortunately, obviously never paid off this year, and due to a lot of things really. I mean, I can obviously talk about it all day, but no, those guys obviously want to win, and they will do everything to win. So it was definitely disappointing this year, but I'm sure we'll come back hopefully next year and obviously go and do the job then.
You're listening to No Breaks, No Fear, the official British Speedway podcast. Brady Kurtz, the Belle Vue captain, joining us soon. And we're on with Tom Brennan and the Aces CEO and team manager, Mark Lemon. Let's just pause for a moment to hear from the Sheffield team manager, Simon Stead, who was speaking after his side slipped to a narrow 2-point defeat at the hands of the Belle Vue Aces. And he's speaking with Ryan Guest.
Well, Steady, just a 2-point defeat on aggregates in the end. You can really tell everyone's gutted, and rightly so.
Yeah, we were robbed tonight, I think. Some of the refereeing decisions over the course of the 2 legs, in my opinion, has been horrendous. And ultimately, that's what's cost us. I can't ask any more from the boys. They give it absolutely everything. And unfortunately... we've been robbed. The Sheffield fans have been robbed as at least a grand finale in Heat 15, because it could have quite easily gone down to that. And I would have been quite happy seeing the lads battle out for the win, and I would have taken it on the chin at that point if we weren't good enough. But I felt we were, and it's just like I said. It's just some poor decisions that have gone against us, and that's ultimately what's cost us.
If you don't mind, if we can just look at them individually. Heat number 3, when Adam Ellis was excluded, I think that's the first one you're referring to.
Yeah, just it's a league championship final, premiership final, and racing's going to be hard. Tom went down easily, and I think that was the first poor decision. Track was a little bit wet. Maybe Tom got caught out, but he went down really easily. And that was the first disappointing decision of the night. But, and it just got worse, didn't it?
Yeah, heat number 11, Toby just about getting his nose in front, and then Brady coming down. So your verdict on that one?
Again, I think Toby had done all the hard work, and actually he had got his nose in front. So at that point, he's commanding the race. And once he's commanding the race, he can really go with it. I don't think Toby went into him. I think actually Brady tried to close a door that had already been left open, and Toby had exploited. So, those two were probably the worst.
Like you say, it's a real shame. We've spent a couple of minutes reflecting on some key decisions there, because it has been a cracking grand final, just 2 points between the two sides in the end.
Well, I did say that to Christina on the phone when I rang, and it's a shame that so much of this grand final's been left talking about refereeing decisions. I asked Christina just to let the lads go out and do their thing and let them fight out for the places, but unfortunately, we're still talking about Christina.
How hard is it to take, obviously, when the boys have worked so hard? It all comes down to these couple of nights in the space of 4 days as well. How hard is it to take when you can't quite grab your hands on that trophy?
Oh, well, we're all disappointed, but the meeting's been and gone now, and it's finished. And I think what we have done is given a really good account of ourselves. I think the majority of people will feel like we've been, unlucky in some of the decisions that have happened, and ultimately if you stack those points up, we would have been good enough to win. So I think we've done ourselves proud. I hope the fans are proud of us. I'm proud of the lads, and we've now got a cup final to look forward to. Yeah,
and just finally, as you say, that's one mere consolation, I guess. Still some silverware up for grabs, which this bunch of riders thoroughly deserve.
Yeah, we deserve it, but that, as has been shown tonight, doesn't mean that you're going to get it. So we know that Kingsland are going to be a tough task home and away, but we'll be giving our best shot, and let's hope that we can finish this season with some silverware.
Well, Sheffield are firmly in control of that League Cup final, so maybe a chance of some silverware for Simon Stead's men as yet. More about that later, though. Back to the playoff final from last week. We've got the Belle Vue team manager and CEO, Mark Lemon, with us. Mark, Simon Stead there saying that Sheffield were robbed and the refereeing decisions, some of the refereeing decisions were horrendous, in Simon's words. Do you agree? and what's your thoughts on some of those decisions that really changed the course of the meeting, of course, and certainly you could argue helped Belle Vue out?
Yeah, I mean the referee always comes under criticism. Whether it's, when they make a decision, it would have been great if they didn't have to make a decision. They could just adjudicate the meeting as it turns out to be 30 heats of a grand final without actually being needed to make a call. But unfortunately, it was racing. It was intense. It was tough. It was probably one of the toughest meetings of the season. It was brutal. The boys were out there. They laid it on the line, and they weren't given an inch. And that's why the referee had to intervene on a few occasions. But I've gone back and sort of looked through and monitored the whole meetings, reviewed them all. And I might you might say because we won, but I think Christina did a pretty good job. And I don't think really there was too many instances there that she got wrong. I think maybe heat 10 was it at Sheffield with heat 4. Sorry, heat 4 or heat 3 actually. Let me get this right. With Tom, that could have been all 4. Probably that decision. And actually, I thought it was going to be all 4. But when you look at the video and the footage, Adam does move twice out when there's no one on the inside. So he really had no reason to keep going wide when everyone was actually turning left. So at the end of the day, that was her decision. It probably could have been quite an easy get out to say all 4. But the rest of them, I think she pretty much nailed.
And Christina Turnbull, one of the most experienced referees. She's one of the only 2 British referees who referee Grand Prix, so it's not like she's new at the job. She's very experienced and used to, dealing with Grand Prix level meetings. Brady Kurtz, captain of the operation, has joined us now, and he's joining us from Poland as it is with Jetset International Speedway Lifestyle. Congratulations, Brady! You're a title-winning captain for the Belle Vue Aces. You're going to go down in history.
Yeah, that's definitely something pretty cool to hear. I think it was definitely well earned by the club. We had such a great team and a great manager in Lemo, and I'm glad we actually managed to pull it off in the end. And I'm sure it's in the books now. So we'll enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, defo. Now you were involved in one of those incidents as well that certainly Simon Stead wasn't particularly happy about. Heat 11. Tobias Musielak got excluded, of course, but you were involved in that heat. What did you think about that?
I think when it comes down to the final, there's always a whole lot of if, muts, and maybes, and you can go through every heat and say this could have happened and that could have happened, but at the end of the day, it finished how it did, and that's all it wrote, really. I think the whole final was tough racing. There was a lot of exclusions, a lot of crashes, and I think everyone was 100% committed to their team and to try and win the final. And that's what there's going to be crashes and incidents, and everyone just had to deal how their cards were dealt, and
Tell us about the fans, Brady, because they were out in force at Sheffield, well, and at Belle Vue, of course, but at Sheffield, making a noise. I don't think the sort of noise that we don't often hear at a Speedway stadium, chanting like it was a football match. And I know you're used to this in Poland quite a bit, but great to hear at a British Speedway stadium. I think we could do with more of that. But they were there saying they were the 8th man. You asked for that, and they delivered, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I've never seen anything like that in England, that's for sure. The Belle Vue fans were incredible. I definitely didn't expect that kind of turnout. And even before the meeting started, all you could hear was the Belle Vue fans chanting, and I think that just showed how much this final meant to them, and they really wanted it just as much as us riders and the whole club did. So it's pretty cool that they did turn out in such force, and we managed to hold the trophy high for them. So I think it was just a good night for Speedway and for Belle Vue, and hopefully it's looking good for the future.
There's one guy who isn't with us at this moment, but was a key driving force and pretty much unbeaten throughout a grand final, which I don't think's been done very regularly. In Robert Lambert, a lot's been made of the signing, of course, but what a signing to have in your team. I don't think any supporter would say no to having him in their team, shall we say. But he delivered the goods, didn't he? And Brady, first, obviously you've been riding with him, and obviously you've spent plenty of time with him on the international circuit, I suppose, as well in Poland, either racing with him or against him. But what a rider to have in at number one.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and Robert have done a lot of racing together over the years. You know, we done under 21 together and come through all the way in Premier League and now in this league. And it was really disappointing to lose Max. I think everyone seems to forget that he is also a Grand Prix rider and a very good British League rider, and who is one of the best to go around our track for sure. And it's a shame he wasn't there to hold the trophy up with me. But if not him, then there was definitely no better person than Robert. And he absolutely done his job, and we can't thank him enough for what he did, and he was definitely played a massive part in it. And a rider of his caliber, he definitely didn't disappoint.
And it was nice to recognise all those other riders and have them on the podium there on Thursday as much as possible, with Charles Wright and Jai Etheridge, all the riders, and Connor Bailey as well, the number 8. So it was great that everybody was all part of that team and got to be involved in the celebrations where they could.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no one rider in that team, that's for sure. Everyone done their job, and they all played a part throughout the season, and without any of them, we probably wouldn't have been able to do the whole job. So it's definitely, like I said, the same about Max. It was a shame for Charles and Jai to not get their start in the final, but they were also massive parts of the entire season and getting us to the final. And they were there on the night and supported us as much as they could and helped out where they could. So that just shows, I think, what a good solid team we did have for the entire season.
Belle Vue Aces team captain Brady Kurtz with us this week on No Breaks, No Fear, along with Belle Vue team manager and CEO Mark Lemon and Tom Brennan as well. 3 aces all involved on this week's episode, and more Belle Vue chat in the next part. And while it was disappointment for Sheffield last week, they could be winning silverware this week as they take a healthy lead into the second leg of the Premiership Knockout Cup final this Thursday at Oleton. We'll also look ahead to the Championship League final as well, which is taking place between the Poole Pirates and the Leicester Lions at the end of this week, Friday and Saturday. We'll hear from Nick Morris and Ben Cook in a while.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
No breaks, no fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Welcome back to No Breaks, No Fear, part of the Sport Social Podcast Network. And if you are looking for another sporting podcast to get your teeth into, well, all manner of sports are catered for if you search out the Sport Social Podcast Network. Football, basketball, baseball, athletics, hockey, motor racing, NFL, and indeed more Speedway as well. With the Humans of Speedway podcast, there's another one to check out. Have a look at that and many more at sport-social.co.uk. Right now, we're in discussion with the title-winning Belle Vue Aces team manager and CEO Mark Lemon, who sat alongside that glorious trophy. Also, we've got Brady Kurtz, the Belle Vue Aces team captain, and Tom Brennan. And whilst the job might be done in the league, there's more Speedway silverware to be won, and the Belle Vue Aces are still in the running for the Premiership Pairs, which is going to return next week. Now, we've had details confirmed that the next round, the 5th round, will take place next Tuesday at Leicester. Now, this was the Sheffield round. Of course, there was to be a round at each track. Sheffield's initially was rained off earlier in the season, and there's no availability at Oleton because there's another event happening in the car park, and can't get into Oleton at a time when there would be a race night. So there's no availability left at Oleton. However, with the same promotion being involved at Leicester, that round has been moved to Leicester's Paul Chapman and Sons Arena, and that is going to be next Tuesday, 7:30, for round 5 of the Premiership pairs. And then the final round will be at the National Speedway Stadium next Thursday. That's the 27th of October for the very final round of the Premiership Pairs tournament. And it'll be a bit of a homecoming for the Belle Vue Aces as well, because they won the title on the road at Oleton, and they've not been back to Belle Vue's National Speedway Stadium since. So for any fans who weren't at Oleton, or indeed the ones that were, another chance to see that Premiership trophy paraded around the stadium, and great for the fans to be able to meet the heroes and say well done one final time before the season ends. And the fixture itself, the Premiership Pairs, sets itself up to be a great way to end the season with some of the best riders in the league all on show as well.
I think that's it's actually kind of cool that we do get to go and ride at Belle Vue again. It's a bit of a shame that you win the league and it's not actually at your track with your fans. And it'll definitely be nice to go back to the National Speedway Stadium. Hopefully the fans turn out in force again, and we can have our little homecoming of glory, and if you might, and hopefully we might even finish it off with a win in the pairs as well.
It's still possible to win it. You can still win this title, and I think a lot of fans are writing this off. But you have two barnstormers, and we don't know what sort of lineups the other teams are going to put out. But you're still there, and thereabouts with a couple of decent performances. So it's there to be taken, isn't it? Lemo, talk to us about the pairs. Have you made any decisions yet on who will be representing the Aces in that?
No, I haven't. Obviously, Brady will definitely be there, and Tom. So just working on the next member of the team. So obviously, I've only just got confirmation through of the Tuesday date just now. So I'll go back to the drawing board and speak to the boys, work out that final member. But we've obviously got an uphill battle, but the boys are capable of it. And obviously, to finish off big at home would be fantastic. But like you said, to have the homecoming to showcase that this trophy here. In front of our home fans, because obviously we didn't get to do that on Thursday, would just be the icing on the cake, and obviously you go into sometimes you go into the season and you don't get that opportunity. So hopefully they'll all come down and support us and cheer on the boys, and we'll have the whole team there and to celebrate. So it's going to be a good night.
Yeah, it should be a great evening, and certainly if you can get those fans back in good voice for one final hurrah, and as well, with the pairs. A great chance to see some of the best riders from across the league one final time to round off the season. A nice way to end the season. Yeah,
I think the pairs competition has probably gone a little bit under the radar, really. It's like the racing has just been out of this world. It's covered on BSN, so it's live stream, so it can be seen anywhere. But the racing has been really good, and obviously some of the winners, Ipswich is the only team that's actually won their home round. So hopefully we can emulate that. But it's just been a great concept, and I'm surprised it hasn't been supported, a lot more. But obviously, it's in its first year of starting this competition, and hopefully we can expand on it next year.
Now, obviously, we know what Belle Vue can do around Sheffield, but you'll be heading to Leicester for the next round, which will be on Tuesday. Obviously, a change to the advertised venue, but Leicester, a track that Premiership teams will be visiting again next season, so nice to maybe get a start there for the fans and see some Premiership standard riders on display for the Leicester faithful. But Brady, for the riders, Leicester, a track that you will have ridden, of course, plenty in the past, but it'll probably have been a while, I imagine, will it?
You will not have been, recently, but a lot of times previously, I raced for Poole for however many years when Leicester were in the league, and I actually quite like the Leicester track, so I'm looking forward to it coming back. And I think the pairs round will be good there.
Yeah, and so it's going to be on the Tuesday, and then back at Belle Vue on the Thursday, and then that'll be the season complete. Will it be for all of you? Have you got any other meetings there, Brady or Tom, beyond that?
No, that'll be all done and dusted for me. So looking to go out with a win.
Yeah, and what about are you going back to Australia, Brady?
I will be. Yeah, I'm not exactly too sure when. I'm not in too much of a hurry to run off, but it won't be too long in the near future, I think.
Yeah, I know some of the Aussies are like literally after their last meeting, they're on the plane the next day.
Oh, they're out.
I think Sedgey's doing that, isn't he? Justin Sedgman's doing his last meeting and he's off. Like,
I think I'll try and sort out as much as I can for next year, so then I don't have to come back too early.
Yeah, Ian, I think a lot of the Australians, come October, have pretty much got one foot on the plane anyway. When it starts getting dark and cold, they're halfway there.
To be honest, I think would rather be with you, but just we haven't got the visa. What about you, Tom? What's your winter plans? How do you keep yourself busy when the season's done?
Well, to be honest, normally it's trying to find like the best job I can. I mean, trying to keep myself busy, obviously during the winter, and whatever sort of comes about, I try and take. But maybe this year might be a little bit different. I mean, obviously you have to try and get trying to get kind of Poland sorted as well, which would be kind of fun because it was kind of like my first year kind of properly doing that, hopefully, and having to get the bikes ready and all that sort of stuff. So that'll be kind of fun. But no, I mean, other than that, we're going to Barbados. Other than
Where are we staying?
What's that?
Where are we staying?
Yeah, where are we staying? Yeah, Lemo's actually
we're all invited, aren't we?
Yeah, but no, other than that, I mean, and then it will be before we know it, as soon as Christmas is over, we then obviously start training and obviously start practicing again. So
building bikes back up. And with Poland, are you looking at like what the top league or the first division, or you're not sure?
Well, I was with Ravitch last season, which was my first kind of like, I was sort of off and on there, which was a great learning experience for me. And obviously Poland, I mean Brady will say as well, it's completely different to kind of how it's sort of ran here. I believe anyway. It's like it almost seems like a complete different sport. It's kind of a little bit strange there. So it's kind of definitely to try and get as much meetings as I can there will be great. And next season it's looking like hopefully like a League One club, but we'll have to kind of see and obviously wait until all the kind of funny stuff is all sorted out. But hopefully, I mean, like I obviously just want to try and be there as much as I can and trying to get as much racing as I can abroad. So it kind of pushed me on a little bit more as well.
Have you got any idea of your destinations yet, Brady, or are you still working on it?
We'll have to see when the transfer window opens.
Says with a glint in his eye. And what about you, Mark? Yeah. I mean, sometimes the problem with having a successful team can also then make things more difficult the following year, and we've seen that with Peterborough, and they had a title-winning team, and it was not so easy for them to follow that up, particularly at the hands of Belle Vue at the start of the season, where they had a baptism of fire, let's be honest. But are you looking to retain as much of the current form of the team as possible? And obviously there's AGMs and there's points limits and things to take into account, but are you hopeful you can retain the majority of your team?
Well, I think, when you have a successful team, the last thing you want to do is break it up. So, yes, quite rightly, I'd like to keep the majority of the boys, but, we're waiting to hear what we have to build our teams to and get on with building that. It's never a nice time this time of the season for a promoter, team manager, or a rider for that fact, because you just want a contract, sign it in place so you can sort of get on with your winter. It's just an awkward period. But as a manager, I've never rushed building a team, and I don't sort of plan to change that sort of ethos. But I'd like to think with the culture that we've got at Belle Vue, that a lot of the riders will want to come back, and maybe some obviously want to join us, but it puts us in a good position. But I think the challenge is obviously focus on 2023 to retain the title and go back to back. Not going to be easy, but I think the last half a dozen years we've been there or thereabouts, so I can't see any reason why that won't be any different. But it brings new challenges. But obviously operating out of the National Speedway Stadium has its other challenges, to make it viable and sustainable, and put a strategic plan in place, that the City Council are happy with. But we have lots of challenges, but the work just continues, and it just doesn't stop here, and we can't sort of rest on our laurels. We've just got to keep grinding away.
Looking at the bigger picture, and probably with your CEO hat on, the subject of a Grand Prix at the National Speedway Stadium is always coming up. There was talk about it in the Speedway Star a few weeks ago, and how Discovery are looking to obviously expand their offering of Grand Prix, and Bradford was being talked about as a potential venue, not least with the capacity that Bradford would have, say, over the National Speedway Stadium. But work now is underway to try and bring a Grand Prix to the National Speedway Stadium at some point, we believe. Can you update us on that and where you're at with that, and if that's something that's likely to happen anytime soon?
Oh, we'd be delighted to host a Grand Prix. We've made that very clear. Obviously the BSPA board members went to Bradford, and that sort of pretty much fell in a heap. It's sort of a bit annoying, really, when you think we've got such a good stadium here that they go to a club that's not even running. We'd probably need a long-term agreement with Discovery Sports to make that possible. So that's really over to the directors to see if they can come up with something like a decent plan. But yeah, Grand Prix Manchester, that would be an absolute feather in our cap. We've hosted big FI meetings with the Speedway of Nations, and I see no reason why we can't host a Grand Prix Manchester. So there's just a lot of work to go on behind the backgrounds to make it sort of viable, really, because Discovery Sports, I don't think their packages are quite cheap, and we'll see.
Okay, well, we'll watch this space. Sounds good. Lemo, for you, the pressure off now then, and maybe you can enjoy the rest of the season. But looking back, I mean, it was a great evening on Thursday for Speedway and for Belle Vue Speedway.
Look, it was just a cracker of a grand final. And I as a manager, I've been there 3 times, and it's horrible. It really is horrible. It sucks, basically. And you're trying to sort of claw back what you can't take back in these incidents. But he's got to be mindful. We went in there with 5 men, by the end of the Heat 15 at Belle Vue, and then we had rider replacement. We lost Charles Wright, who's good for 8 to 10 points easily at Sheffield. So our backs were against the wall, and but we just had to play it smart with the rider replacement rights, because the track obviously threw up some curveballs with gates 2 and gates 3 being poor, so we didn't want to waste any rides with our rider replacement riders. So they could have clinched it earlier, I think, but they didn't.
It was much closer than I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be close. I thought there may be 4 or 5 points in it, maybe, but I didn't know which way it would swing. But I was surprised that it came down to obviously Heat 14, but it could easily come down to Heat 15 as well, and went the distance. And exciting stuff.
Yeah, but I think like you referred to young Tom. Tom and Norrick were probably the key workhorses for us. I think between them they got sort of 14 points or something like that. They were just great, and sort of probably went under the radar. Probably they were expecting to capitalise against the big guys, our top 3, and try to nullify them, and probably they did. But our younger guys were the ones that sort of really clinched it for us at Sheffield. But 12 points in a grand final, to take a 12-point lead, and that's what I said to the boys. It's 12 points is quite a large margin and quite a huge advantage, because the pressures of these grand finals throw up curveballs. On a normal race night, we would have gone to Sheffield and probably got smoked 20, 60-30 because the way they've been performing. But the same thing happened at our place. A grand final brings different tensions, different pressures, and I think we're the ones that cope with it the best.
Back to what you're saying about Norrick, I think Norrick's a great signing, and I saw him at the Teesside Silver Helmet last year, which was his first actual ride, because I think Robbie Kessler had got him involved in some meetings, and he did the Teesside Silver Helmet. He did the Peter Craven, I think, didn't he, as well, and a meeting at Wolverhampton, and he was good value.
Yeah, no, I pretty much did a deal with him in Latvia, the Speedway Nations. I watched him. I've seen him ride a few times, and I was so impressed with him. It was just I would like you to come to Belle Vue. So that's where we started the negotiations. Then he came to England to do those 3 meetings, and it was just 100% he's going nowhere else. He's coming to Belle Vue, so he's got a big future, I think.
It was after the Teesside Silver Helmet, and we had this bizarre interview where he was talking about his love of cats, and I thought he's
quality in an interview. I'll give him that.
he absolutely loves cats, does Norrick Bladorn. He's a real cat fancier. It's like a real thing for him. You can talk to him about cats. There's not many speedway riders you can just talk about cats to, but he loves cats.
He's one of a kind. I mean, he wears those zebra coloured Crocs everywhere. He never takes them off. Mismatched, socks. He just doesn't care, and he's like the coolest customer going. So it's been really good. I'm gonna apologise. You probably had a chook in the house. We've got a chook in the house that's been annoying me all interview.
What's the chicken's name?
Uno. We hatched her during lockdown, and long story short, like she ended up. She doesn't live in the house permanently, but she's in the house at the moment.
So do they produce eggs and stuff for you then?
Yeah. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah, tastes pretty good too.
Well, yeah, a fresh egg's always better than
the chicken or the eggs.
The chicken.
Yeah. Well, you're never going to starve, are you?
We've got a cockerel. Our cockerel's called Doug. So he wakes us up about 5 o'clock every morning.
If you were going to pick one, I mean, this is mine, but if you're going to pick one highlight of the season, beyond winning the title, Speedway of Nations and stuff, one other highlight, you look back on the 2022 season, what would come to mind for each of you, just to round it off?
That's a tough one. I mean, I'm a proud Aussie, and lifting the nations was an amazing achievement after so long. And I think probably it may get it because we've been trying forever to do that as a collective group, and when I say I think that it's hard to actually compare the two, because we Aussies, we're so far away from home, and we're so distant from the rest of the guys, because we can't just pop back 2 hours and on a flight and be home. We're away for a duration of the season, and I think when we get together, there's that bond that you can't explain, and to finally achieve winning gold after so long and coming so close so many times, it was just an unbelievable moment that we'll never ever forget, and the success is just wonderful. But I think the difference with winning with Belle Vue, from what we've been through, from when I came to the club in 2015, we were the whooping boys. I rode for them in 2012, and I remember going to the change rooms. There's this sign, it's about winning. And it's just I remember there, we're getting whipped all the time, and I actually put a felt pen mark through the "it's about," and it's only, and that was 2012. And we still got that sign there now, but I think the fact that we've been through all these sort of hardships and the new stadium and obviously the upset of the model going wrong in 2016 and having to restart, and new owners coming in and having to try and turn it around as a business, and then Adrian Smith, our CEO, leaving in February, and then I'm having to run the whole ship by myself, and the pressures that come with that and the stresses. But what I'm getting to is when we went to Sheffield and we won, and those supporters, the jubilation that they did, and what we went through, and we milked it for 20 odd minutes with those fans, I think that was just unbelievable, just an experience I'll never ever forget. And it was just a chaotic scenes, and jubilation beyond belief. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was fantastic scenes to see. Tom, for you, what's your big memory? I mean, obviously winning the title is going to be a big thing, and all this stuff. But what's your sort of, when you look back on 2022, what do you think is going to be your memory of it? Your main. moment?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, for me, I mean, other than obviously winning the title, I mean, that will obviously stay on my mind for a very long, for a very long time. But no, for me, other than that, there has been a little bit of success this year for me, which is quite cool. But I think the main thing was sort of one, being a part of Cardiff, which was a massive thing for me. I mean, obviously since I can remember, I was running around there with a massive earmuffs on, like I watching from the age of 3 or 4 years old. So obviously for me to be in that stadium and actually be, I mean, obviously regardless of the result, that was something that will always stick in my head. And I mean, other than that, I mean, there's been some highlights, but I mean, probably the SGP2 at Torham was something big for me because I kind of turned up there without having seen the track, and I was racing against obviously some of the best under 21 riders in the world, and I kind of held my own. So for me, that was something that obviously felt a lot. But no, I mean, this year to kind of, I mean, there's obviously been some big highlights, but no, I mean, obviously winning the league, probably nothing will really sort of come close to that. So no, for me, that was something that will always stick in my mind. So.
The Aces champions 2022, and my thanks to Tom Brennan there, to Captain Brady Kurtz, and to team manager and CEO Mark Lemon. In the next part of No Breaks, No Fear, we will have a look at what's happened in Sheffield's quest for silverware this season, because they've taken a huge stride towards claiming the Premiership League Cup. And by the time you hear this, you will maybe know the final result, because the second leg is set to happen on Thursday. So we'll have some reaction to the first leg, which took place at Kings Lynn on Monday night. And we're not far away from the grand final of the Championship. It's the Leicester Lions versus the Poole Pirates, and we'll begin our preview with Leicester's Nick Morris and Ben Cook of the Poole Pirates having their say before the two sides clash, due to be meeting for the first time on Friday at Poole Stadium, with the second leg on Saturday. All that to come on No Breaks, No Fear.
No Breaks, No Fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
OK, in this final part, let's have a look back at some recent meetings and get some reaction. And starting with the Premiership League Cup final, which finally got underway on Monday. Sheffield taking full control of that with an impressive performance, winning 51-39 on Monday at the Adrian Flux Arena. The Tigers put their grand final disappointment well behind them to put themselves into pole position to land some silverware in the second leg at Oleton on Thursday. The scores were level at 30 apiece after Heat 10 at the Adrian Flux Arena, but Sheffield raced to 4 5-1s in the final 5 races, with the Stars' only response coming in Heat 14. Tobias Mujalak with 12+1 led the scoring, with Adam Ellis on 11+1 bonus, and former Kings Lynn man Lewis Kerr with 10+1 bonus as well, also in double figures, whilst Frederick Jakobsen with 12 and Thomas Jorgensen on 11+1 all led the way for the hosts. We'll hear now from the Kings Lynn team boss, Alex Brady.
No, we came here full of confidence. Preparation was perfect. Right up until 7:30, everything was in place, and there was no complacency from our side. But yeah, sometimes things go well for you on the night, other times they don't. And tonight was one of those nights it didn't. We couldn't buy a start, unfortunately. I thought after sort of Heat 4, Heat 5, we might start to come into it a bit more. It was very nip and tuck in the early stages, but yeah, Sheffield just pulled on a little bit too strong for us, and probably the better team on night one.
You would have been looking for a strong finish, but they provided it with 4 5-1s in the last 5 races.
Yeah, when we had the interval at Heat 11, we spoke about the importance of making our starts, and at that stage we were 4 down, and we felt that we could come on strong in that sort of final third of the meeting. But yeah, we couldn't. Again, changes didn't quite work for us. The changes they made to get out the starts quicker didn't quite work, and it's just one of those. And I'm at a loss to explain why, to be honest, but it's bitterly disappointing, and obviously all we can do now is go to Thursday, do our very best to try and claw those 12 points back, and obviously next Monday, Belle Vue, try and put some gloss on the season by beating the champions.
Great performance the last time here against Wolverhampton. Everybody chipped in, it was a great team performance, but tonight 2 riders did well, but the others a bit below par or a lot below par.
Yeah, there's some performances that the riders individually are disappointed with, and obviously, rightly so, the fans are too. But yeah, it's professional sport, and obviously has to be winners and losers. But yeah, you can't afford against a team like Sheffield to carry 5 riders. If it's the other way around, we had 5 on form and 2 not perhaps on form, it could have been a different story. But yeah, just unfortunately tonight it just wasn't enough of us on form. I include myself within that as well. So for the full 8 of us, but. We'll go to Sheffield Thursday, as I say, and try and claw those 12 points back and see where it takes us.
There's Alex Brady. What about Simon Stead? We heard from him earlier after that playoff final defeat, and I think he's going to be a little bit happier, isn't he, with a decent lead to take back to Oleton. He's been speaking to Dave Rowe.
So after what happened last week, attitude, commitment, bang on by your team. That was really, really impressive.
Yeah, all of what you just said, Dave, which is exactly what
I asked of them exactly what I expect from them, and they didn't let me down one little bit tonight. Just showed their professionalism and their want, and they want to do so well for this club. It's they were all disappointed about what happened on Thursday, and I think you've seen what that meant for them tonight, just going out there and getting back onto it and doing such a fine job. But look, we know we're only at the halfway stage. We know what can happen in these sort of meetings, and we haven't won it tonight, but we've just made life a little bit easier for ourselves on Thursday. But we know we're only at the halfway point, and we'll have the same determination and commitment on Thursday. Why
do they like this track so much? Your record here since you came up to the Premiership is phenomenal. It's 4 wins and 1 draw, and I think most of the wins have been by this sort of 10-12 point margin.
Yeah, I don't. To be honest with you, I feel confident anywhere I go with this team. They've done it for me home and away at lots of places this year, and that's down to the boys and their level of commitment. So I can't fault their attitude everywhere they've been, and tonight makes me just that little bit more proud that after the upset of Thursday they can come out with a performance like that.
And that gives you the chance to go back home on Thursday. I know you say it's halfway, there's still work to be done, but you can finish the season off with a big trophy. Well,
that would be great, and go some consolation to not winning the league. So but it's not a given, and like I said, we'll approach Thursday with the same determination and commitment that we have done tonight. And if we do that, then we will finish with some silverware, and I hope we do that, because that would go some way in repaying our fans who have travelled up and down the country with us all season with some much needed silverware.
So Sheffield go for some silverware this Thursday at Oleton Stadium, 7:30 the start time for the second leg of the Premiership League Cup final. The Championship Grand Final gets underway on Friday at Poole Stadium, with the second leg in the East Midlands at the Paul Chapman & Sons Arena on Saturday evening. And of course it is the Poole Pirates versus the Leicester Lions. The Leicester Lions running away with the league, and the Poole Pirates having to go through all of the qualifiers in the playoffs, the quarterfinals, the semi-finals. But now they're through to the final to claim possibly their second bit of silverware this season, having won the Championship Knockout Cup last week. Let's look ahead to that fixture now with two key men for the respective sides. We'll hear from Ben Cook of the Poole Pirates in a moment, but first of all, here's Leicester's Nick Morris.
Our team thought it's probably sick of seeing Poole Pirates in the final, but we've had a good meeting at Poole at the start of the year where we beat them, so unfortunately we didn't in the last one, but we know what we can do, and we're going to need to be on top of our game Friday, and hopefully we can come away with a win at Poole.
You used the phrase, obviously, sick of seeing Poole in the final. They have been dominant. They're always right in the mix at this stage of the season, and that's an extra target for the Lions, isn't it, to dethrone them of the title they already own?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we finished top in the league this season, so we've been the best team overall, and we've just got to be on our game on Friday. If we all do what we can do, then there's no reason we can't come away and win the whole show. So it's not going to be easy, but it's all to play for, and we'll fight till the end.
I was going to say, you've proven in the past this season as well that you're more of a match for the Poole Pirates as well, so it's all about going into it with a sense of belief as well.
Yeah, exactly. We've definitely got that belief. When you got two good teams like this, crucial things can happen, and little mistakes from each team can be costly. So can't be throwing away any points, and just both teams have got to be on their game, and it's going to be a good one.
And Stuart Dixon, as team boss, he'll certainly have you revved up for it.
Yeah, for sure. Stuart will be putting all his passion into it, the same as we are. So it's going to be tough. Poole have improved all season long, and they're going well at the moment. So we've been off the bike a lot too. So we need to be on it, and we need things to go our way, and let's hope it does.
Nick, all the best to you in the Lions.
Thanks, mate.
Ben Cook, it's almost Championship Grand Final time. Poole against Leicester, and it's certainly a mouth-watering final in prospect.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a long time coming, but it's finally here, and weather permitting, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, and obviously it's going to be a cracking 2 legs, a cracking 30 heats of speedway, and Poole right now certainly full of confidence going into this one.
Yeah, we had that little dull mid-season, but lately everyone's been chipping in and we've been getting some big scores. But it all comes down to this one, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Leicester, as you say, you beat them quite comfortably not so long ago at Wimborne Road, but nevertheless, Stuart Dixon will have his boys fired up for it.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a similar scoreline, but obviously we hope so. But they're going to be coming there fired up and willing to put on a big show, but we will be too.
You've only been around Wimborne Road a couple of seasons, but nevertheless, you know that they almost demand success at any level they're involved in, and it certainly runs through the veins at that club. Yeah,
they've had such good history in the club, and they've won a lot of trophies, and it's good to be a part of it as well. And obviously last year we done the double, and hopefully this year we could do the triple with the Jubilee as well. But there's still a little bit to go, but we're on the right path.
And just finally, from your own individual point of view, it's been a stunning season, particularly in the second half of it, just racking up double figure scores for fun, really.
Yeah, it's been good. Like I said, it's when you feel good and your bike's good, that's a good combo to have, and at the moment that's how it is. And yeah, I'm happy, and it's at the right time of the season too, so that's handy as well.
Ben, all the best to you and the Pirates.
Thank you. Cheers.
And so there's Ben Cook, and you'll be able to keep tabs of what's happening in the Championship Grand Final. You can either be there at Poole Stadium on Friday, or indeed at the Paul Chapman & Sons Arena on Saturday for the second leg, or you can watch live on the British Speedway Network, where both fixtures will be screened live. Now, Mildenhall demolished Berwick 67-22 at West Row to march into the National Development League Grand Final by a 42-point aggregate margin. The Fen Tigers recorded 11 5-1 advantages in a one-sided second leg, with skipper Jason Edwards scoring 14+1, a paid maximum, whilst reserves Luke Harrison and Luke Muff were also unbeaten by an opposing rider. Meanwhile, Carl Bickley accounted for half of the bullets total on the day with 11 points, including 2 race wins. They now set up a grand final in the National Development League against the Leicester Cubs. Let's hear from Jason Edwards, who got that paid maximum for the Mildenhall Fen Tigers.
We didn't do ourselves any favours last night. Do you know what I mean? So,
do you think that was because you maybe had more than one eye on today?
Me personally, no. But I just got beat straight up. But I don't know, I think obviously reserve-wise we struggled a hell of a lot. But I mean, their whole thing is they want to try and get like a Luke Harrison and Ashton Bowen, because suddenly you start bringing one of them in. We saw what Luke did today. Do you know what I mean? He was absolutely brilliant. So I think that was in the back of their minds. But I think every trophy is as important as the other, isn't it?
You wouldn't have dared dream it went as well as it did today, would you?
Yeah, I think Jace Gardner was saying we nearly got to 70, so I don't know if the club's ever done that before. But no, it was just, and like we were saying a minute ago, there just seems a good feel-good factor around everything. So it'd just be nice to finish the season on a right little high. Obviously, we haven't got the return leg of the final, because that's always nice, do you know what I mean? But yeah, we'll make the most of it, and hopefully we get a good lead and lots of fans come down to Leicester.
You're probably going to be sick of the sight of the Lion Cubs by the end of the season, aren't you?
Yeah, I know. I've got we've got Premiership pairs there as well, and obviously we've got that. So we've had enough practice there, so we should be all right around there. But yeah, like I say, I'd like to say that was our practice. Do you know what I mean? We kind of know what we're doing, and the track's not going to be any different. It gets a hell of a lot of use at Leicester track, but we've had our little go now. So as long as we make a change next time, that's the main thing that is important.
It's quite often about momentum, though, isn't it? And you've certainly, as a team, built momentum right at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think someone said there's like 11 5-1s or something today. And I mean, the last sort of 3-4 league meetings, everything's been, it's been going up and up and up. So we've, like I say, everything's on zero again. Yeah, we've probably lost a knockout cup already, but the main thing is this National League playoffs, and yeah, we start from scratch, 0-0, and yeah, if we got the first leg, we can hopefully do what we did today, and then off we go. Smiles on our faces.
Always a smile on Jason Edwards' face. Tim Goff from Gen X Radio in Suffolk talking to Jason Edwards. And that's about the lot for this week on No Breaks, No Fear. Just time to have a look at the fixtures for the upcoming week. And there's not a great deal over the next couple of days, really, to look forward to in terms of the fixtures on Tuesday and Wednesday. But Thursday, League Cup final second leg. Could Sheffield be bringing some silverware to Alderton? They've got that lead, 51-39 it is at the halfway stage. It gets underway at 7:30 this Thursday. Then on Friday, Championship Grand Final first leg, Poole versus Leicester at 7:30. National Development League, it's Armadale versus Leicester, also at 7:30. And Teesside Silver Helmet, a cracking lineup for that. 7:30 the start time at the Echo Arena. Then on Saturday, it's the Championship Grand Final second leg, all to be decided at the Paul Chapman and Sons Arena. Leicester versus Poole starting at 7 o'clock. And then on Sunday, National Development League Grand Final first leg, Mildenhall versus Leicester at 2 p.m. And then we've got the second leg of the Knockout Cup between the same two sides, Mildenhall versus Leicester, racing straight after the league meeting. So it's all go there. That's on Sunday at Mildenhall. And that's your lot for this week. We'll be back next week. It's going to be a busy one next week because we've got the 2 rounds of the Premiership pairs. Hopefully we'll have the Championship decided as well. So all to come next week on No Breaks, No Fear. Have a great week and we'll speak soon.
No Breaks, No Fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Sports Social Podcast Network.